Good day, Slaymates, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, I'm Kimmy, and this is the Slay House where we slay the day away. Today, I want to talk about my favorite underappreciated art form, shithouse graffiti. So, grab your tea or your beverage of choice, pinkies up, and come with me on this journey through the Poo-seum of modern art. Let's get into it. Well, that's certainly a niche interest. Where did that come from? You might be asking yourself. I think my interest first peaked in this unique art form during my first Iraq deployment. Granted, this was in the long ago before cell phones, smartphones, and cell phone cameras were readily available, so I couldn't document the creativity of my fellow Joes back in the day. I actually kind of had a pie in the sky aspiration of cataloging port-a-jon, etc. graffiti into a tastefully bound coffee table book. And maybe I could still do that because I work construction, and as you'll see, that creativity still exists. Honestly, I think that bathroom graffiti were memes before memes were memes, which is probably the origin story, my supervillain origin story of my shitposting meme shenanigans. Food for thought. I mean, one of my favorite ones that I remember from back in the day while I was in Iraq was a little bit of poetry that was, here I sit, buns a workin', left hand wiping, right hand jerkin'. So this wordsmith was also a multitasker, which I found impressive and amusing. Since I currently don't have the means to do a tastefully bound coffee table book, I'm doing the next best thing, which is making a stream of consciousness, poorly edited YouTube video about the bits and bobs of amusing graffiti that I've picked up since cell phones and cell phone cameras have been a thing. All right, next topic. And they say romance is dead. So how does one go about declaring their undying love to their boo? Do they carve initials in a tree? Do they put locks on that whatever bridge? Nah, that's Bush League. What you really want to do is follow the example of these two couples, Joe and Dee, and Eagle Beans and Ashy Ankles, and declare your undying love by scrawling Sharpie on the inside of a sweltering port-a-jon. These two couples still live rent-free in my head. Are they happy? Do they have their 2.5 kids and the picket fence? I really need that Paul Harvey, and now you know the rest of the story, closure to the story of Joe and Dee and Eagle Beans and Ashy Ankles. But I guess we'll never know. So we're gonna have to move on to the next topic. Is that a peen on my screen? Oh, I'm getting the vapors. And yes, I did go grab a thing of pearls just so I could have them to clutch for this bit, so sue me. One of the things that I find the most fascinating about this genre of bathroom graffiti is, especially in my line of work, where I work with a bunch of dudes who constantly and emphatically assert their heterosexuality, yet so many dongs end up in the walls of the port-a-jons. So many dongs. Do with that what you will, I just find it very interesting. So I've got a few examples that I would like to show you, like this little guy right here, which started out as a declaration of faith and then devolved. You have the Jesus Saves, and then the balls added to it, and then the proclamation that Jesus saves with Geico, which is kind of one of my favorite things about shithouse graffiti in general. It's kind of like a low-tech message board. Like sometimes like one thing will start and there'll be replies and replies and replies, and it gives you something to read. I like to call it the shithouse dispatch. Then this kind of ties into my other favorite genre, which is dicks that people turn into other, I think, slightly more wholesome things. So we got this little festive guy here. I mean, I'm filming this in July, so let's call this Christmas in July. This started out as a dong, but then somebody decided to turn it into Santa. I mean, it works. It's pretty flawless. And then this other one here, which started off as a dong, but then became some weird, deformed, limbless puppy thing, which, I mean, that's cool too. And then a lot of times disgruntled employees air their grievances on the inside of a port-a-jon, so we have it done this way here. Although I think this looks less like a dong than it does I don't know, maybe that plant from Little Shop of Horrors spitting on the company name redacted. I don't know, but anyway, I mean, this is kind of a topic I could go on like forever and ever and ever, and this video would never end. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next topic, which is honorable mentions. So this next category of honorable mentions are just random things that don't really specifically fit into the category, but I feel like are still worth mentioning honorably. So the first one I want to talk about is this one here, this little bit of poetry. I previously mentioned poetry that I had liked scrawled on a shithouse in the past, but this one, here I sit, buns of fluxin', it's your wife that I'm a sexton. Chef's kiss. And next, we have this one here, Apprentice Lube, scrawled in Sharpie on the hand sanitizer dispenser inside of a port-a-jon. I think you and I would both agree that that would result in a bad time for all parties involved. But it's still funny, so it goes here. This next bit here maybe didn't have a Sharpie on hand, but he had a utility knife and some imagination, so he decided to alter a bit of signage that was available inside the port-a-jon, and this is the result. I gotta admire that creativity. The next two I want to discuss are actual art. This Sonic drawing is actually very good. Probably pissed off who was waiting on him to finish that outside, but I'm not going to fault him for that. Now this one falls in the honorable mention category because it's not inside of a port-a-jon, but I have to give double admiration for one, the artistry, because hands are hard to draw, and two, the balls that it took for him to do it quickly as he did obviously not inside the confines of a port-a-jon. So, respect. The urinal trough in this particular port-a-jon became detached, leaving only this hole. So, this was what was left in that place. And if you think you recognize that handwriting, you don't. I'd like to thank you all for coming with me on this tour of the Poo-seum of modern art. And if you had a good time today, just gently stroke that like and subscribe button to stimulate that algorithm. Leave a comment with anything that you found in using in a port-a-jon. And until the next time you come slay with me, go slay with yourselves.